Hello and welcome to Enjoy English School. I'm Stevie.
I'm Betty.
Today we are looking at our JSYK lesson, or Just So You Know. And we're talking, our title today is interesting, Eating with Your Eyes.
Oh,
Eating with your eyes.
right. You usually eat with your
mouth?
right?
Yeah. 用眼睛吃饭. Do you say that in Chinese?
Not really.
So maybe we're some anime, where the eyes come out and go, ah, ah, ah. No.
Right, but not really in real life, right?
No. What this means is you're looking at food and, it looks delicious. It looks so good. And you're like, you start to think about it and you start to drool. And eating with your eyes means looking at it and just, wow, thinking this looks amazing.
And today our subtitle is Food Stylists.
Food stylists make dishes look their best. A food stylist.
Right.
Now, we hear the word hairstylist, a person who styles your hair.
Right.
We hear fashion stylist, a person who helps you style your fashion. A lot of singers and movie stars use fashion stylists. But a food stylist, this is a person who makes food look good for pictures and video.
Right. I don't know this is actually a real thing until I see the article today.
Yeah,
right.
It is.
So it's mind-blowing.
Eating with your eyes. In modern times, people often make quick decisions about where and what to eat. Whenever we feel hungry, we can simply pull out our smartphone and check out the nearby restaurants. Most people make decisions just by looking at pictures of the food. If a dish looks amazing in a photo, we are more likely to give it a try. Interestingly, many of the foods we see in photos may not taste as good as they look. When professional photographers create images for a restaurant, they usually work with food stylists. A food stylist is someone with a background in both art and cooking who knows how to make food look better in photos. This line of work requires skills and years of experience to present perfect-looking food. A food stylist needs to have a good sense of color and an understanding of light. Knowledge of using specialized tools for adjusting the appearance of the food is a must. Knowing how to maintain the freshness of the food during a photo shoot is also useful. Just like a business card, a restaurant needs beautiful photos to attract customers.
Now, just a quick reminder, this is our all English unit for the month. So today is no Chinese.
Right. Scary, isn't it?
Ooh. Okay, so let's look at the first paragraph. In modern times, people often make quick decisions about where and what to eat. So in modern times, the word modern just kind of means like right now.
21st century.
Yeah, 21st century. Modern fashion means fashion that's popular right now. So in modern times, these times now that we live in, people often make quick decisions. You decide something very quickly.
Right.
And they make quick decisions about where and what to eat. So this is something, I do this a lot.
All the time.
Because I like to cook, but sometimes if I'm just cooking for myself, I'm kind of lazy and I'm like, I don't want to cook. I'm not in the mood. And it's so easy to just order something from like Uber Eats or Food Panda or any food delivery.
Right.
Or just to go somewhere in my neighborhood. So yeah, I don't think about it a lot. I just think, I don't want to cook. Okay, make a quick decision and order something that's usually not good for me.
Because it's difficult for you to prepare a meal just for yourself, right? You need to decide on, like, it's hard.
Like what do I make? And then I have to...
Leftover.
Yeah, well, leftovers I don't mind.
Oh, you don't mind?
No, Americans, we will make extra food so that we have leftovers for lunch the next day or dinner the next day. We actually like to have leftovers.
Oh, really? That's quite different.
Yeah, that's a lot of my Taiwanese friends are like, oh, I don't like leftovers.
Right, it's cold and you need to microwave the food.
Well, you just heat it back up. And a lot of things, just to tell you a secret, a lot of things taste better the second day.
Like
if it's a curry, if it's something with a sauce, because you make it and then overnight it has a chance to, the flavors have a chance to keep blending together.
Ah, right, that's true.
And so there are a lot of foods that taste better the second day. Now, fried chicken, no.
Definitely not.
No, the second day, yeah. But we like leftovers.
That's quite a little bit different.
Right.
Cultural differences.
So we often make quick decisions. We decide quickly. A decision is when you make a choice, a decision about something. Whenever we feel hungry, we can simply pull out our smartphone and check out the nearby restaurants. So pull out, because usually it's in our pocket or something, right? So pull out. Actually, mine is in my pocket. Pull out. Pull out. So we pull out our smartphone and we check out the nearby restaurants. And sometimes I'll just order.
Right.
You know.
Foodpanda, Uber Eats.
Right. But I think, oh, okay, there's a new sushi place near me. Oh, I'll go try it. It's so easy to just look things up now on your phone.
Right.
So we pull out our smartphone and check out the nearby restaurants whenever we feel hungry. Most people make decisions just by looking at pictures of the food. This is so true.
Right.
When I order something on a food app, like, Uber or whatever, I will, if I know the restaurant and I know what I want, I don't care about the pictures. If I don't know the restaurant, I will look at the pictures, and if there are no pictures, I might not order from that restaurant.
Really? Because you kind of get scared about not being able to look at the pictures?
Also, I'm a foreigner in Taiwan.
Right.
And I don't always know what to expect.
Especially there are some pretty names for dishes in Taiwan, right?
Yeah. And so I'm not sure what this is. But also, I kind of also feel like if they don't care enough to take a nice picture, because I can take a nice picture of food with my phone. I don't need a special camera.
Right.
But I love food. I'm a foodie. So maybe I'm good at taking pictures of food. But if they can't be bothered to, if they can't be bothered to take a good picture and post it, then I think, why would I?
Right, bother to make
Why would I bother to order that? Yeah,
right, that's true. That's true.
So I do sometimes make decisions just by looking at pictures of the food. So if a dish is a plate of food, right? A dish is also the dish that you put the food in.
Right.
Right? The plate or the bowl, we also call that a dish. But a dish of food, okay? If a dish looks amazing in a photo, if it looks really good in a photo, we are more likely to give it a try. We are more likely. Just kind of means there's a better chance,
right?
Of us trying it. Yeah, it's just, if you see a picture of a burger that looks, it's all squished and flat, or you see a picture of this beautiful looking hamburger, like thick meat and tomatoes and lettuce, and it looks so fresh and maybe even healthy,
right.
Which one would you order?
But I think they're taking advantage of that sort of mentality, right? You like beautiful pictures. Let's show you beautiful pictures.
Exactly.
But bad food.
Well, we're going to talk about that in the next paragraph. Okay? So we'll be right back with the next paragraph. All right, looking at the next paragraph. Interestingly, many of the foods we see in photos may not taste as good as they look.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Now, interestingly just means you might think this is interesting. Okay? This just means, I'm going to tell you something you might find interesting. Many of the foods we see in the photos might not taste as good as they look because they look amazing.
Right.
Right? Most of them looks amazing. Now, one reason when we look at the next sentence, when professional photographers create images for a restaurant, they usually work with food stylists.
Here we go. Right.
Yeah, the word we're talking about today, food stylists. Okay? Now think about, can your hairstylist, they can do some amazing things to make your hair look good.
Right.
Do you look like that when you wake up in the morning? Maybe
Probably
you
not.
do.
No.
Maybe you do.
Definitely no.
I don't. So these photographers, a photographer, a person who takes photos, a person who takes pictures, a professional photographer, when they are doing like the menu or maybe the DM or the advertisement for a restaurant, then they work with food stylists. A food stylist is someone with a background in both art and cooking. So they understand the food.
And understand the art.
And they understand art and how to make the food look beautiful.
Right.
So it's someone with a background in both art and cooking who knows how to make food look better in photos. Now, I understand what angles, like an angle, What some dishes look really good if you take a picture from the side. Like if you make a really beautiful looking, I'll use hamburger again. And you can see all the layers. You can see the bun. You can see lettuce, tomato, meat, cheese, maybe some sauce. And then, you make it look juicy. And you take that from the side. Other foods, you want to take a picture from the top.
Right.
And, there's different angles. Also, how the food looks on the plate. Or what kind of plate, what kind of dish.
Right.
They do all of this to make food look better in photos. So this line of work, we could call it a line of work, this area of work.
Career, job.
This kind of work.
Right.
Yeah. This kind of work requires skills and years of experience to present perfect-looking food. So it requires, you must have the skill to do this. And skill comes from lots of experience.
And practice.
Years of experience, which is practice, doing it, to present, to show perfect-looking food.
Right. And here, I think we need to be a little bit careful with the word require because it's very similar to need, but I think we use it more diversely. If you have a person in the beginning of the sentence or a thing in the beginning of a sentence, you can use require in both cases. But if you use need, most of the time, the subject would be a person, right? For example, being a teacher, you don't say needs, you say requires years of experience, requires patience.
Yeah. Like I could say you need years of experience. But this job requires years of experience.
Because it's a thing. A job is a thing.
Exactly. All right. So we'll take one more break and we'll come back and look at part 3. Okay, so looking at this next paragraph, we're going to talk about what a food stylist is.
Right.
So a food stylist needs to have a good sense of color and an understanding of light.
Reasonable.
Yeah. Have a good sense of color. And this is important for things like, again, since I'm using hamburger, I'll use a hamburger.
Okay.
If you have a picture of a burger and the lettuce,
right?
You know, the lettuce, the green stuff you put on your burger, the lettuce, if it looks kind of pale and that in the picture, it still tastes the same probably, but if it looks kind of pale and it's not really like a deep green, it's not as beautiful. It's not as attractive. And so you pick a lettuce or a vegetable that looks like lettuce that is like a really bright green color to it. That just, you know, that color makes it just pop out.
Right.
And so you look at it and you go, ooh, you notice that color.
Right.
The tomato that's on there has to be super red and look super fresh.
Right.
So you have to have a good sense of color, and then you have to, like a photographer, you have to understand the light that shines down on it. Is there a shadow here? Is there a part that doesn't look as good? You have to pay attention to light and color, just like in any artist.
And yeah, here in this case, I think they're also working kind of like a photographer. They're doing both.
Well, they work with photographers.
Can they be photographers themselves? I don't.
Yes. There are food stylists who style the food and take the pictures.
And put it on Instagram, right?
Yeah. But a lot of them, they do this kind of thing, and that's what they sell. That's all they do is advertising photography. And some of it's food, some of it's different products.
Right.
So, yes, they work with all of that. So, knowledge of using specialized tools for adjusting the appearance of the food is a must. You have to do this. What this means, knowledge, having the know-how, we could say, of using specialized tools for adjusting, for changing the appearance of the food, how the food looks. Okay? There are things that they use that you would think, ew.
Right.
Okay? A lot of the food you see in the pictures is not food you can eat.
It's fake, right?
Yeah.
It's not real.
It might be real food.
Oh, really?
But they have done things to make it look
prettier.
Like some of them, some of the veggies you see, you know, you see that, oh, it looks so moist and fresh, and you know, they've been spraying it with like clear plastic, you know, like fingernail polish to make that tomato look perfectly beautiful. You know, they've sprayed fingernail polish on it.
Has it layer
or
shine
to make
on
the
it?
So it has a nice shine on it. But or the burger, you know, that burger looks nice and juicy because they've been spraying like oil on it, and then they want it to look steamy, so they spray a little oil, and then they light the oil on fire, and it goes and it burns off, but you see this steam, and they take a picture quick.
Okay.
So there's a lot of tricks.
A lot of
some of them I know, but usually you can't eat that food.
They're just for photograph.
Yeah. And the next one, knowing how to maintain, how to keep the freshness of the food during a photo shoot is also useful. When you are using like fresh vegetables, fresh lettuce, and you know, you're chopping vegetables and you're showing that so that it has to look amazing. And oftentimes they'll spray that with water. They'll use a water spray so it all looks nice, and but knowing how to keep it looking fresh, how to keep the freshness of the food during a photo shoot is also useful. Just like a business card, a restaurant needs beautiful photos to attract customers. So this thing, just like having a good-looking business card, a restaurant needs beautiful photos, especially now because we all look online.
Right, that's true.
You need beautiful photos to attract, to bring in your customers. So that's, it's actually a lot of work.
A lot of skills and a lot of know-hows involved.
A lot of skills, a lot of know-how. And I mean, I just said, I'm picky. I know you can't tell by looking at me. I'm a little picky about food that I buy. But yeah, if the food looks terrible in the pictures, I'm probably not going to order.
Because they're probably not going to taste good in reality, right?
And maybe they didn't care enough to take great pictures. Yeah, I don't know. I may be wrong. Okay, but everyone needs to learn how to do this if you have a restaurant, or you need to hire a food stylist. We're going to learn more about food stylists tomorrow. So I guess we will see them then.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye-bye.